What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Natal Kicking Knowledge. You like that, right?
Yeah,
They really do. They love it. But anyway, we got a special episode today. Your boy is currently on vacation. I'm down here in Miami, Florida, and I decided to pay one of my good friends, the Neptune Queen, a visit. And we're gonna do this episode about artistic aspects within the natal chart, okay? And she inspired this episode because when I read her chart, I saw some interesting things. And I've never done an episode solely on artistic aspects because we're all artistic and creative in our own way. But her chart's a good example, and we're going to get into that a little bit today. So, without further ado, Neptune, welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here on the show. I guess tell the people a little bit about, who you are.
Well, I'm from Miami, and the reason why I call myself Neptune Queen is because I'm a Pisces.
Okay.
So I have this tatted on me, which is the sign of Neptune.
Right.
And for me, like, I always grew up as around artists because my family, that side of the family is artists, and my great grandma, everybody always had like a gift with their hands.
Right.
That's all I can remember.
Okay.
So, art, music, and creativity was always part of me, always. And when we have Hispanic parents, they always want us to be a doctor, a teacher, and I'm like, nah, I can't do that.
Create.
Yeah, I want to create. So I started getting into astrology about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I just started, getting interested in it, and I started realizing things about myself. I didn't know I was a Capricorn moon. I didn't know nothing about. So as the more in depth I got in my astrology, the more I started to understand what is my path in life.
Okay, so hold on. Let's tell the people. So you're a Pisces sun, Capricorn moon, and Sagittarius rising. Pretty interesting combination. So that would put so we got Sag in the first, we got Capricorn in the second, Aquarius in the third, but your sun, which is in Pisces, falls into the third house.
Yeah.
Along with what else?
Venus and the North Node.
Okay, so you got a jam-packed third house. And the third house is the original house of Gemini. It's the house of communication, skills of all kind, like our hobbies. What do we do for fun? Our connection towards learning. It's the house of our intellect and overall curiosity. So it represents the hands. So you clearly say there's like a need to use your hands.
Yes.
So tell us about some of your creative endeavors. What do you do?
People tell me, what can't you do?
What can't you do? Gemini, jack of all trades.
Yes, it is. I can paint, sketch, play the piano, play the guitar. I'm good at writing.
Okay.
I have weird talents with my hands. You've seen
Right.
it's just weird. I've heard a lot of people say that Venus in the third, people have very unusual gifts.
Right.
And it's really true. It really is.
Damn, we didn't even have any of the art, but I do.
Well,
I'll post some of it. I do have some of her art, and it's really, really good. Like she's serious about it. Oh yeah, you can sing too. So that's interesting. So what we have here, we have her sun in the third house, and then we have Venus here. Venus is creativity. So, and then we have the North Node, which is our destiny, what we're supposed to, excel and work towards in life, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to break down her chart a little bit and just show, how this comes about. So this is one particular position. So the third house can definitely inspire someone to be creative by giving them the innate curiosity to create. So then when we add Pisces to this house, Pisces represents spirituality, it represents imagination, okay? Creativity in the sense of, a sense of escape, creativity that helps you escape, music, poetry, all types of things. So then when we put the sun here, that ability is brightened up. Then we add Venus here, which adds a very nice hint of aesthetic, touch to it, right? And then the North Node is like, I'm obsessed with using my hands and creating it in various ways. So that's one thing. Then you have, so let's talk about, so with that we would have, what's your 10th house in? Your 10th house is in?
My 10th house is in Libra.
Okay, and what do you do for a living?
Well, that's the thing. Before my Saturn return and everything like that, I was really lost because as an artist, it's hard to get out there.
Right.
It's kind of like now it's kind of getting more into the artistic realm, and artistic world is a lot bit more open.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but now I'm actually a makeup artist. I'm an esthetician. I'm a photographer, and I did photography for 2 years, and I just wanted to bring it back because I felt like, to me, like I have an Instagram, it's I Master Beauty, but it's not like the letter I, it's I, like EYE Master Beauty, which is where I post all of my makeup and my business and everything like that. So it's funny that Libra represents cosmetic, beauty.
Right.
It represents all of that.
Right.
So people who have this in their 10th house usually are going to be towards women, a women industry.
Right.
Because that's really women based. Not saying that it's just for women, but it's all about what
it's like beauty,
it's beauty.
Like you said. So what we have here in her case is we have the ruler of the 10th house in the 3rd house, which can read that a person uses their creative ability, or one of their skills that they're known for is with using their hands. And then when we add the sign to this, it goes in the mode of beauty, working with others and things of that nature. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, we have the esthetician side, which is really in depth, like
you use your hands, and everything that my job requires me to do is with my hands.
With your hands, right? And then you also do photography,
Yeah.
which adds that element of the 3rd house, which in Gemini, which is about versatility, being able to do one thing. So that's really cool. So you always want to check the depositor, just in general, the depositor of your 10th house, to see where that ruler is and how that's going to add influence towards your career. The next aspect of creativity, which is the house of personal creativity and talent, is the 5th house. And you happen to have here
Jupiter and Mars.
Jupiter and Mars. Mars, of course, is energy, activity, willpower, and Jupiter is wisdom, it's optimism, it's luck. And then the 5th house is, talent, personal creative expression, children, all of that, okay? So how do you see, how is that played out for you in the sense of like, how do you see Jupiter and Mars within your 5th house, inclining you towards creativity? Basically, like, with your creativity, is it something that you want to do all the time? Is it, something you've always known you wanted to do? How does that go?
I always wanted to do what I want. I like it. Art just, it's kind of like an escape to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's
Neptune,
why, so it's like,
right.
But it's not just an escape, because people use escape in all types of forms.
Right.
They use drugs, or they use other type of things. But I think that art to me is really my drug.
Gotcha.
And some people, as a Pisces, I'm sure a lot of Pisces have been through addictions and stuff. But there's some addictions that are really good for you.
Right.
At least for me.
Right.
It made me who I am today. And having Jupiter and Mars there, I have children.
Right.
And I incorporate my artistic talents to them. So they are talented as well. My kids, they draw, they sing, they dance. Like, it's kind of interesting seeing that actually like come about and actually seeing that manifest.
Right.
Because I love the fact that they're artistic. And my parents, you know, they always, you know, supported me, but they were more like on a logical sense, like, hey, you gotta have a regular job. And me, I want my kids to be artistic. I want them to expand their artistic side, because I feel like it's okay to be logical, and it's okay to, you know, do regular things, but I feel like kids need that.
Hell yeah.
And it's like I'm kind of like their teacher. I teach them how to paint, or I teach them how to, you know, I feel like a teacher to my children. So that is how I see it play out.
Cool.
So.
And we should add, I don't think we mentioned before, it's in the sign of Taurus, which is also ruled by Venus. All right. So we have an exalted Venus here, you know, which is very at home and comfortable in the sign of Pisces. It's in the 3rd house. There's a need to create. Then you have these planets deposited in the 5th house. And more times than not, when we get Mars is activity. So when it gets into the 5th house, it's gonna create some type of activity regarding creative expression. So in this case, we have an earth sign. It's in Taurus, you know, and then, you know, the depositor is in the 3rd house, so the person creatively wants to use their hands. And then Taurus is also, you know, very aesthetically inclined and gifted in certain essence. But let's say your Mars was like in Aries, we can have the creativity going towards, you know, something like sports. Okay. If it was in water, we can have that going towards an emotional thing, something that you're emotionally attached to. Okay, say the person was a singer, you know, their energy would be, they'd be motivated to use their talent to help, you know, convey their emotions and get in touch with the emotions of others. So then it's beautiful that you mentioned kids, because the 5th house relates to children. And people with Jupiter in the 5th, you know, your kids are your blessings in life. Okay, they're gonna bring a lot of luck to you, and also help you expand creatively. All right, a lot of, you know, inspiration and wisdom can come through that with children and things of that nature. Now, this brings me to the next point, and this is really what I wanted to touch on in this video a lot too. So I was reading her chart, and I knew instantly, like, this is a creative person. Not just because of these positions that we have mentioned. There were aspects, and it's funny, these aspects are considered minor, but they're actually very major. So, and what this young lady has is, she has quintiles and biquintiles, several of them. If I remember correctly, I know your son is quintile Mars. And what a quintile is, if you don't know, it's a 72-degree aspect, all right? And I think that adds to the significance of it, you know? It's not 76 degrees, it's 72. There's an exact, you know, certain range between the planets. And what quintiles and biquintiles do is they give talent. You know, it shows that in a karmic sense, this person has this innate ability to do something in a very original way. So when we can find with people with quintiles and biquintiles is just this natural gift of doing things. In her case, you know, it's artistic, you know, endeavors. In another case, it could be someone who's a physicist. Okay, so you got to think about it, like, how does a person acquire these certain skills or this love, you know, to want to build, you know, rockets or work in a certain type of field? And the quintile and biquintiles are very, very powerful. Now, the key to these aspects is, you know how they say, when someone's really good at something or something comes natural, we don't really work hard at it, you know? So the key aspect, if you have any quintiles in your chart, is to discipline that talent, to creatively develop it, you know, find use for it, let it work for you, all right? So the next thing with this, it goes deeper, you know, it kind of helps you incorporate, it's like a command of being able to use all your senses, okay? The ability to think, the ability to, you know, imagine, okay? The ability to logically ground what you've imagined into time. So anybody out there, you know, that may be an inventor, a scientist, an artist, look into their chart. I'm sure you will find, you know, a quintile or two, all right? And another thing with this is that it can show like a love for like patterns and needing to create order out of things.
Yeah,
okay, so it's listed as a minor aspect, but it's actually quite major. All right, so for those of you out there looking at charts and even in your own chart, don't overlook that. So attach that, you know, aspect towards some type of gift that you may have. Okay, so you know, I like the fact that you said before your Saturn return, you were like lost.
Yeah.
And as a Capricorn moon, you know, it kind of...
It goes bad.
It's like, I'm sure your Saturn return was a lot
yes,
more
it
intense.
Was crazy. Like, wow. I mean, I don't know if anybody's went through it or going through it right now, but usually there's some big major event in your life that actually would kind of direct you to your purpose. Like, as for me, you know, I don't want to get too in deep in detail, but a lot of very life-changing situations happened that just catapulted me to do my purpose, you know?
Right.
So, and my kids, yeah, they've been my purpose too. They've been my reason, because I feel like, yo, I'm mom and dad.
Right.
I gotta give them the example.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So another thing was the whole quintile, when you were talking about that it's kind of a talent that you don't... There was a time where I didn't really do much with my talent. I wasn't doing nada.
Right.
But then I was like, no, you know, if I, like, say I die tomorrow, I'm gonna regret the fact that I didn't do nothing with my talent. So this is something that, it's not minor. That aspect is really not minor. It's something that person needs to really get into their motivation, find it, and just go with it, because it's a talent that has to be, you know, everything, what they say, like you can be good, but there's always levels to, you know, perfection. There's always level of improvement. Right. So that's always been my motive. Like, there's always levels to improve. Like, there's never a limit to improving. You always gonna get better and better. Nobody's really born, like, yeah, you can be born with a talent, but you have to constantly be practicing on it. It's like a tattoo artist. When I try to do tattoos, which I did, it was I had to practice.
Right.
I had to go forward with it. You have to continuously practice on your skill. So if you have a quintile and you have a talent, you need to pursue it. That's the only thing, yeah?
Yeah, you know, and then I think with the Saturn return, what it does is, you know, it puts pressure on you to, you know, fix whatever area of life this thing is occurring in, okay? Or, you know, there's going to be parts where you need to become more Saturn-like, and the Saturn return really is like, listen, I've been giving you all these years to get this shit right. Now it's crunch time. And once you do this, ultimately, what you'll find time and time again is that once you survive it, things get better. It's like nothing can hinder me from here on out. So I really want to just, you know, hammer home that point about, you know, perfecting a talent, you know, and I always like to draw upon Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter gives. Saturn is like, you're going to have to work for this. So Jupiter is like, hey, I'm going to give you the talent to make your dreams come true. Saturn is like, oh, you're talented. Okay, what work have you done with it? You know, so it goes hand in hand, you know. hard work will always beat talent.
That's true.
You know, it'll always be
That's
talent.
true.
So when the key is to, especially even trines, you know, you want to try to find the way to discipline yourself towards perfecting what is already easily given to you. All right. Just to talk a little bit more about other artistic, you know, aspects. So what we went over here so far is the third house, the fifth house, aspects, you know,